research and we tell the stories.
Right.
The behind the scenes. When Ty is doing his homework on Luca Magnotta and he's ugly crying because he can't handle it.
Or when I'm getting so stressed out about Fred and Rose that we never released.
Because you had to get so Hammertown drunk to numb the pain.
Yeah, it was not a good day.
But
5 hours of audio and generally me laying on the floor.
We were sympathetic to it and we have all the feels about it. That was super depressing and really upsetting, but a fantastic story, and I loved it. And also, hooray Halloween, hashtag Freaky for Fall.
Oh my gosh.
So we are going to go away from Sad Town right now.
Thank goodness.
And we are going to talk about Captain Tony's Saloon in Key West.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm so jazzed about it. I had like a gigantic bright smile on my face the whole time through this research and these notes.
Like, this is super.
So, Captain Tony's is a bar that's located in Key West, Florida. It's pretty divey, and the ceiling is plastered with dollar bills and license plates and business cards and most notably bras.
Yes.
Have you been there?
I was outside of it. I went when I was very young with my family because we have have the house in Coral.
Mm-hmm. So, do you know the story already?
No.
Okay,
but
cool.
I'm jazzed about it because I tried to go into a lot of these places. My parents told me no, but also I was young, so.
I want to go to this place really bad. Also, real life Captain Tony. I think that he's a great American hero. And if I was in like middle school and I had to do a report on somebody, it might be Captain Tony. I don't know. So the stools in the bar are actually painted with the names of famous people that have sat on the stools before.
Outstanding.
And were regulars.
Awesome.
And there are so many of them. Actually, one of my favorite things is that Jimmy Buffett loves this bar. And he
does.
Apparently is a regular patron of it.
Oh, so of course he does.
Yes,
And
the mayor
also,
of Margaritaville.
Yes.
I love Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
So, as usually happens with paranormal stories, the bar has a long history. Not all of it is great.
Of course.
So the building itself was originally constructed in 1851, and it was at the time used as both an ice house and the local morgue.
Okay. It kind of makes sense.
So, Henny, 1865, picture the scene. Terrible hurricane comes and it rips through Key West in Florida.
No
figure.
No hurricanes in Florida.
Oh my god, right? Like, what? Yeah, so this terrible hurricane comes through. It decimates Key West, and it does a lot of damage to the building. And, like we just talked about, this was the morgue at the time, so apparently what happened was all of the bodies were scattered everywhere, and they were all pretty much washed out to sea.
Yeah, it was like Keys, man. You can't...
That's right. And Key West, tiny little island.
It's tiny.
So all of the bodies are washed out to sea, except for one. So this body's left behind, it hasn't been washed out to sea, and it's discovered right outside of the building. So everybody has decided that what they want to do with this body is make an impromptu burial site for it and give it a proper burial, right? I'm down with it. But as a good measure, the Bahamian people that lived in Key West at the time, and there were a lot of Bahamians, they go ahead and they build a wall around the gravesite, and because they're worried about it not being a consecrated gravesite, they put like many bottles of holy water into the wall that's built around the gravesite.
Did they think that there was something bad happening with this body?
No, I think that what they were really worried about was because it wasn't exactly like a proper burial. It was sort of impromptu. It wasn't in a graveyard. They wanted to make sure that they went ahead and they
did all they could.
They did everything that they could for it. So the holy water, I think, was more of like a nice gesture. So because the bar has been expanded and it's had a lot of work done to it over the years, that burial site is apparently now inside of the bar.
I was waiting for you to say that.
And there is a corpse inside of the bar buried into it. So
they have it marked because that's all I want.
It's supposedly in what used to be the billiards room. But there's so much more. So I'm frustrated though that there is not more information about the body that was supposedly buried in there, because I went ahead and I looked and I tried to see if I could dig up the name of the person, get their identity, at least find out even if it was a male or a female, and that information is not out there. All I could find was that there was a body that's buried and the bar was built around it.
Right, okay.
So we're moving on. We're past that. Okay, honey, like we're moving on with our life. So in the 1890s, it becomes a wireless telegraph station.
Okay, rad.
which becomes pretty useful at the time during the Spanish-American War.
Yeah.
Because it serves as a point of communication, and a lot of the things that are going on get telegraphed from that place. Later on, in 1912, the building is used as a cigar factory, which I think is cool.
I mean, I guess it's...
I like cigars.
I want to say the last time that I was in Key West, they have that, there's a marker that's like 60 miles away from Cuba.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's
so
totally
I
a thing.
could assume that there's probably a good market for bootleggy Cuban cigars right there.
And the Cuban culture and the culture in Key West, especially at the time, there's a lot of overlap there.
Yeah.
So 1912, it's used as a cigar factory. Then it becomes a brothel for a period of time, because every haunted place ever has been a brothel, apparently.
Well, it's like supposedly my house was too, so I'm not sure.
And also the haunted house in Frankfurt that we covered. Yes. So after that, it later becomes several different speakeasies over the years once Prohibition hits.
High five.
The most popular speakeasy that was there was called the Blind Pig, and their specialty was, no surprise, bootlegged rum. Also, it was a pretty fantastic gambling den.
Which I would make you a Mai Tai that would kill you.
Fucking kill me. Just kill me.
I do real good Mai Tais.
Like, I could totes go for a Mai Tai or a Hurricane right now. I'm into it.
I legit can't make you either, but I am good at making them.
Well, maybe that'll be the next episode. Maybe we do something tropical. Or maybe we get lazy and just drink whiskey. Either one is okay with me. So, one pretty unfortunate story about the Saloon comes from the time that it was a speakeasy during Prohibition, and that story involves a woman who had been searching for her husband at the time, who had not come home for a extended period of time. They had just had a baby together.
Oh, no.
So she shows up there knowing that he was not only a gambler, but also wanted to hit the bottle real hard. So she gets there. She finds him. He's completely Hammertown. He's been drinking all day. He's super fucked up. And she is at a point where she is just like so sick of the shit honey. And she's like, okay, you know what? I am so sick of him hurting me. And I am so sick of him never coming home. I'm going to do something to hurt him. So she takes their infant and she goes to the bathroom.
No.
Where she kills it.
No.
She kills their baby.
No.
She wraps it in a blanket, stuffs it under the sink, and then she leaves and she goes home.
No. No, I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I told a real sad story, but I tried to minimize it, sir.
Okay, but in all fairness, I put that at the beginning. Okay, so that we could get over it. We could build a bridge and get over it. Okay. So, picture the scene. It's 1933.
Picture the scene. The robots are on tour again.
The bar gets purchased by a gentleman named Joe Russell. It is turned into... Oh my god, I love this, by the way. It's turned into Sloppy Joe's bar.
Which we were just talking about how much you don't like Sloppy Joe's earlier.
We were absolutely talking about it. And fun fact, this is where Sloppy Joe's come from.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so... Everybody, fun fact!
Yeah, good job for some of my small amounts of childhood that I ate meat.
Sloppy Joe's was apparently frequented by Ernest Hemingway.
Oh, rad.
Because, do you know that Ernest Hemingway lived in Key West for a really long time?
Yeah, but he also kind of lived like a ton of places.
Well, yeah, and, Cuba and everything. Sloppy Joe's was apparently frequented by Ernest Hemingway. And when Joe Russell decided that he wanted to move the bar to another location because he had had an altercation with the landlord over a $1 per week rent increase. Wow. He was just like, no, I'm not giving you an extra $1 a week, homie, okay? Like, that's not how this is gonna go.
I mean, that adds up.
Well, and especially at the time. And he was just like, okay, so fine. I'm not into it anymore. We're going to move on. We're going to go somewhere else. And the landlord was like, okay, you want to move out of this location? You have to leave behind all of the fixtures, everything that you've installed over the years. You can't keep any of it. It has to stay here.
But also, it's mine, so yeah, I can.
Yeah, that was kind of his attitude. And what happened next, I think that you're going to really enjoy. That was basically his attitude. He wasn't happy about his landlord saying that. And Mr. Sloppy Joe gave literally zero fucks. And one evening, he and all of the local drunks who were patrons, including Ernest Hemingway, picked up all of the things in the bar, including the fixtures that they weren't allowed to take.
Yep.
And they moved them across town to another location. Ernest Hemingway, by the way, had said that because he had spent so much money there and had spent so much time drinking there, he wanted to take the urinal.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which
of course he would.
I found pictures of because it's actually at the Hemingway house in Key West right now. It serves as a trough for the cats. It's a fancy urinal. So Ernest Hemingway was like, yeah, I'm going to chisel this out of the wall and take it with me.
I mean, I've done some weird stuff upon leaving locations I've lived at before.
So, yeah.
I'm not mad at him. That is definitely something I'd be like, no, I feel like I deserve this.
Honey, they took everything. They moved it in the middle of the night. I mean, well, let's be honest. And like Ernest Hemingway even said, he's like, I've spent enough money here that I basically own this urinal. Okay, like I've peed on it enough times that it's mine. So they took it all over to its current location at 201 Duval Street. And by the way, we are going to Captain Tony's. We are also going to the current location of Sloppy Joe's because Sloppy Joe's is still a thing in Key West. So what happened next was in 1940, the building was leased to Morgan Bird, who opened up what was essentially a gay saloon or a gay club.
Yep, which Key West clearly famous.
Yeah, absolutely. But also this was 1940, so this is easily 29 years before being gay in the United States has been decriminalized after the Stonewall riots. So 1940, Morgan Bird does the whole thing. He gays it up real big, and he calls it the Duval Club. So all the gays are going there. They're having a super good time, and they proposition as many sailors and Navy members as they can because they keep coming through. Like, this is like a really big spot for Navy members who come into port.
Right.
I'm just saying, maybe it was an outlet for people that were in the closet to have a good time.
Which, solid, man.
Yeah, do your thing. I mean, get it at the Duval Club. Unfortunately, what happened was the Navy was super unhappy about this. They thought that all the gay things that were happening were not okay, and they disallowed everybody in the Navy from visiting the Duval Club. Their finances dropped by something like 80%. So once the Navy was no longer able to visit it, they lost all of their money, and they had to go out of business. So it wasn't until 1958 that Captain Tony had actually purchased the bar. Because, it's Captain Tony's Saloon.
Yeah.
So Captain Tony was actually born Anthony Terracino in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which, by the way, what a New Jersey name.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, man, that's New Jersey fucking Italian.
I feel like Teresa Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey is maybe his descendant.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
She's the one that flipped the table.
Yeah, you told me about that.
She's my spirit animal. I love her. Anyways, moving forward. His father apparently had some issues. He apparently did have some gambling problems, which Tony also had too. But his father had dropped out of school pretty early on to become a bootlegger during Prohibition.
Rad.
And at some point he had allegedly, and I cannot stress this more, allegedly gotten involved with the mafia. So in 1948, Tony makes the move to Key West after he's had a terrible experience because he was beaten and left for dead at a Newark dump the year prior. After the fact, he was just like, you know what? We're going to eat, love, pray this shit. We're going to go somewhere else. He pulled a Julia Roberts.
That's right. You fucking sip on that while I just get very sad that this was a reference.
Tony does, because he, like I said before, he is a great American hero. He does all kinds of stuff after he moves to Key West, right? He's very accomplished. So these things are not necessarily in order, and I'm not saying that they're in very close succession to each other, but this is just a list of all the things that happened to him after he moves there, right? Not only is he a total badass, but he is a gun runner during the Bay of Pigs.
Okay.
He is a fishing boat captain for a extended period of time, so he is actually a captain. He's apparently an expert gambler and super duper good at it, and at one point he even becomes the mayor of Key West.
All right, so he's like my legitimate personal hero, who was a privateer.
But we're not done.